Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rutgers University-Newark's virtual Transfer Tuesday event. My name is Vincent Tepedino, and I am the Director of Transfer Admissions here at Rutgers University-Newark. I'm so excited that you're able to join us today, and I'm excited that you're considering Rutgers University-Newark as the next step in your academic journey. Today, a little bit about what we will discuss. We'll talk about the Rutgers University system as a whole, Rutgers University-Newark specifically, who we are, that value of that Rutgers University-Newark degree and educational experience, as well as the application and financial aid process as it pertains specifically to the transfer student population. To understand Rutgers, it's important to know that we have three main regional campuses: Rutgers University-Newark, Rutgers University-Canton, and Rutgers University-New Brunswick. We also offer some off-campus programs, online programs, offered at different community colleges in the state. Rutgers University-Newark offers degree completion in both Brookdale and the County College of Morris in select areas, as well as some also School of Health Professions programs that we have around the state as well. At Rutgers Newark, we are where access meets opportunity. We are a large research institution, but we do offer the benefit of being a small campus when it comes to class sizes and personalized attention. We do pride ourselves in our ability to provide that personalized attention to students, but also being a highly classified research institution. We are also very proud of our ability and our commitment to a diversity and access. For over 20 years, since US News and World Report began ranking universities for their diversity, Rutgers University-Newark has been at the top or #1 in the country at the most diverse national university in the United States. And diversity comes from a number of different factors. It could be ethnicity, could be race, could be income, could be gender, could be age, could be whether or not you're a first-generation student or citizenship. So those are a number of different factors that go into this particular ranking. At Rutgers Newark, we have 5 major schools: Newark College of Arts and Sciences, the Rutgers Business School Newark, the School of Criminal Justice, School of Public Affairs and Administration, and University College Newark. Now, being transfer students, I'm sure that you have an idea of what major it is that you want to study, what program it is you are hoping to gain entry into when you're applying to Rutgers University Newark, so you can more or less decipher which school on this screen your program or major would fall into. We also have some very unique opportunities. Through our schools, we have some pre-professional programs for those students who are interested in law, medicine, or health profession fields. We have accelerated programs even for transfer students. Those transfer students coming in as juniors or anything above first-year students would have the ability to indicate an interest in these accelerated programs. These students would be able to get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in an accelerated time frame, thus saving time and money on your education. We have the ability to allow transfer students to join our Honors College. Honors College students have a diverse opportunity to partake in research opportunities, study abroad, working with faculty a little bit closer, internship possibilities. The opportunities are endless for students that are in the Honors College, and it's all based off of merit and an interview with Honors College representatives. We do allow students to partake in study abroad. And of course, what we will discuss in more greater detail is our Honors Living and Learning Community Program, or HLLC, which we will discuss in a little bit. For those of you who are interested in living on campus and getting fully immersed in that college experience, Rutgers University-Newark does allow students, even our transfer students and our graduate students, to dorm and live on campus. Some of our dorms are more dormitory style, some are more apartment style for those students who are upperclassmen. When talking about college, higher education, or any university setting, affordability and value is always key. So here at Rutgers University, being a state institution, we are one of the more affordable options. And you can see our tuition here and the breakdown between being a New Jersey resident and a non-New Jersey resident. Now, when we discuss living on campus, of course, room and board is an additional charge, and it does tend to raise the price tag a bit. So living on campus is certainly a luxury that not all students, A, can afford, or that B, would actually partake in that particular option. So you can see here the breakdown between being a New Jersey resident and a non-New Jersey resident is about double the tuition. So most of our students are New Jersey residents, but we do have a large population of out-of-state students, and more importantly, international students as well. When talking about financial aid, when talking about tuition and affordability, it's always beneficial to talk about the different scholarships that we have to offer. We're going to discuss two in greater detail, as I mentioned, our Honors Living Learning Community Program, as well as a program that we like to call Run to the Top. And I'm sure you've heard that if you're coming from a New Jersey County College and you've seen either me and my staff on campus or now virtually talking about the benefits of our Run to the Top program. Other scholarships that we have here are also New Jersey Stars 2 and Phi Theta Kappa. You can see that those particular programs require that students were prior members in either NJ Stars 1 or a member of their PTK or Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society at their sending community college. The good thing about our scholarship programs is that any student has the ability to stack awards. And what does that mean? That means that if a student was given Phi Theta Kappa, that does not mean that they're not allowed to have one of the other awards. Students can have the Honors Living Learning Community Residential Scholarship, they can have Run to the Top, they can have Phi Theta Kappa, and they can have all other federal and state aid up to and including the tuition and mandatory fees that we would charge for that given year. So students can combine scholarships to make Rutgers University-Newark certainly an affordable option. When talking about the Honors Living Learning community, it's important to understand what we look at as what the word honors means. We're trying to shift the understanding of what it is and means to be an honors student. So when I say honors, I'm sure you're all sitting there thinking, okay, well, it's probably GPA, SAT scores if you're a first-year student, honors classes taken at a previous institution, and that is not the only thing that we look for. Of course, academic merit is important, but we're looking to celebrate different talents that students have, right? So we're not just looking for grades and academic merit, we're looking for social development, personal development. We're looking for talented students that come from different walks of life, different backgrounds, that are really interested in something that we call social justice. So students who want to make a difference within the community and then beyond. That is really what this program thrives on. That is the sole foundation of this particular program, is that social justice aspect. Within this particular program, right, it's interesting to note that there is a minor that will come along with this particular program, but also that all of the students who are selected for this program after going through a 2-round interview process will be required to live on campus. Of course, those students who are selected for this program living on campus will be fully covered by Rutgers University-Newark. And it's considered a gap funding award. So what does that mean? That means that after all other financial aid, scholarships, whether it be internal or external, has applied to your tuition bill, Rutgers University-Newark will cover that balance. So there's really no set amount. It is all based on the individual's financial situation and what that balance is after all other aid and scholarships has then applied. Of course, as a transfer student, these awards will only be good for 2 academic school years or 4 semesters, as the hope is that we can get transfer students enrolled and then graduated and out into the professional world within 2 years or 4 semesters. So these scholarships, for the most part, will have a shelf life of 2 years. All students are also required to apply for federal aid in order to receive these awards, and it's just a good practice and habit to get into to always apply for financial aid. Students must always remain in good academic standing, of course, in order to continue to get these awards. And there are deadlines associated with this program. So for HLLC, it is only students who are interested in the fall semester that are eligible for this program, and students would have to apply by our priority application deadline, which is February 1st for the fall semester. Now, Run to the Top, or as you can see here, the Rutgers University-Newark Talent and Opportunity Pathways program, is for tuition purposes. As HLLC is for room and board, Run to the Top would cover all in-state mandatory tuition and fees up to that number that you saw on one of the previous slides. So this is also a last dollar scholarship. Much like HLLC, this award will cover any remaining balance that a student has, again, up to and including mandatory in-state tuition and fees, after all other scholarship and aid applies. So in order to be eligible, you'll see that you'll have to be either a citizen, permanent resident, or a recipient of the DREAM Act or a DACA student, right? The Federal Deferred Action to Childhood Arrival Benefits. The student requirement would require two things: that you must be a degree-seeking student, meaning that you're coming to Rutgers ultimately hoping to achieve a bachelor's degree, not just taking courses and trying to transfer them to another institution or being non-matriculated, right? You have to be a matriculating or degree-seeking student. You'd also have to be a graduate of a New Jersey county college. So students who are applying for, let's say, fall, which is September of every year, you would have to have your associate's degree by the latest August of that given year. Your degree would have to be conferred to you prior to your start at Rutgers University-Newark. The last requirement is an income requirement. As run to the top is a financial need-based scholarship. It has nothing to do with academic merit. You just need to be overall admissible to the institution. What we look for on our end is the degree and a household adjusted gross income of $60,000 or less. Let me say that again, $60,000 or less. How we verify this is from your FAFSA. So on your FAFSA, there will be an AGI or adjusted gross income level. And after that, we have determined, we being admissions, have determined that the student is pre-eligible, meaning that you are a citizen, permanent resident, or DACA, and that you are degree seeking and have a degree from a New Jersey County College prior to enrollment. Financial aid will get a list of these students and determine whether or not you meet the income level. If those students, or if you meet this criteria, then essentially your tuition at Rutgers for 2 years or 4 semesters would be fully funded by Rutgers University-Newark. Of course, to be eligible for this program, much like other programs, there are deadlines. Unlike HLLC, unlike Phi Theta Kappa, this particular program is good for either spring or fall entry, but you have to be eligible before your first semester. You cannot become eligible while you're a Rutgers student. So for spring, you would have to not only apply by December 1st, you would have to fill out your FAFSA by December 1st. For fall entry, you would not only have to apply by June 1st, you'd have to fill out your FAFSA as well by June 1st. So it's very important that you keep these dates in mind because they are different than our priority application deadline, as students are allowed to apply after those priority deadlines. But for run to the top, you'd want to adhere to these deadlines in order to be eligible. As a whole, this slide will show from start to finish what the transfer admissions process looks like. Of course, it will all start with an online application. Students can apply online at admissions.rutgers.edu. If you're familiar with it, Rutgers University-Newark is also on the coalition application, but for transfer students, for the most part, the online admissions application at admissions.rutgers.edu would be where you would go to fill out the undergraduate admissions application. After you apply, everything that you'll need to see whether or not whether we've received documents or what your status is, will be shown to you via this personal status screen that you can see here at admissions.rutgers.edu/status. That will allow you to see what documents have been received, what documents are still outstanding, and ultimately what your admissions decision was and how to move forward from there, which we'll talk about in step 3. After applying, we have a number of different ways where students can submit their documents, i.e. for transfer students, their college or university transcripts. So you can either mail them to our central processing center that you can see there. This address will also be on your status screen, or on your status screen, there'll be a way to upload an unofficial digital copy. Now, the unofficial copy is good for an admissions decision. However, to get your official credit evaluation, we will need an official copy sent directly from the institution. So for the admissions purposes, you can submit an unofficial. You can do so by uploading it right there on that status screen. But you would also have to submit an official at some point if you want all of your credits transferred, which of course is one of the biggest issues and concerns for transfer students, right? How many of my credits will transfer? More importantly, how many of them will apply to your degree? Because that will ultimately determine how long you are with us to complete your bachelor's degree. After applying, after submitting your documents, if you are admitted, this is where the same screen you will go to accept that offer of admission and say, yes, I'm coming to Rutgers University-Newark as a business student, for example. And you would accept that offer of admission there. After accepting that offer of admission, you will be prompted to pay a $150 enrollment fee. Now, this enrollment fee is separate from the application fee, which is $70. This enrollment fee ultimately holds your seat and allows you to move forward with the enrollment process and sign up for registration. Our entire enrolling process is encompassed on this enrollment pathway that you can find at my.rutgers.edu, and where you can actually upload a picture for your ID card, sign up for exemption or the process of taking a placement test. Most transfer students don't have to take a placement test, but you will have to ultimately work through the questions there to determine whether or not you are exempt. And most importantly, it's where you'll sign up for a registration day. Now, our registration days are called SOAR, or Student Orientation, Advisement, and Registration. And this will give you a glimpse as to what life is like as a Rutgers student. It will allow you to talk to different offices, whether it be disability services, veteran services, parking, housing. A number of different offices will provide you with information on these days, and ultimately you'll be able to register for your courses with an advisor. Okay? So this particular process from start to finish is really what it would entail to become an enrolling student at Rutgers University-Newark. Apply, send your documents. If admitted, accept the offer, pay the enrollment fee, sign up for SOAR, Student Orientation, Advisement, and Registration, or your registration day. So what I like to say to transfer students ultimately is, if you're thinking about transfer, these 3 steps are really something you want to keep in the back of your mind at all times, right? So the first thing would be to plan ahead. And you're already doing that by joining me today, and I can't thank you enough for that. So plan ahead. Meet with an advisor, meet with someone at the 4-year school that you're interested in, but most importantly, use your transfer advisor or your advisor at your current school, or previous school rather, if you're not currently enrolled, as a resource for you. 9 times out of 10, they speak with either me or my team daily to talk about updates about Rutgers University-Newark, what's going on, new programs, new requirements. They are in the know of what it takes to transfer to Rutgers University-Newark and to do so in a seamless fashion. Again, step 2 would be to do your research, again, which you're doing just by being here. So you want to make sure that you understand the transfer process, right? And I think that we've given you a nice glimpse into it on the previous slide. What else is important is you want to understand the transfer credit policy. So at Rutgers University-Newark, for students coming from a 2-year school, we will accept a maximum of 65 credits. From a 4-year school, a maximum of 90 credits. Now, these courses would have to have been completed with a grade of C or better, and then they will be determined for transfer equivalency at that point. So it's good to understand the transfer credit policy so that you can get a better idea of ultimately how many credits will transfer. If you are coming from a New Jersey County college, a great resource is njtransfer.org. This is where you can actually go in and plug in your courses and say, I'm from Essex County College and I want to go to Rutgers University-Newark's psychology program. Does my abnormal psych transfer over? And you can type in the course. You can type in calculus, math 127 from Essex, and see if that is equivalent to our calculus. Or you can type in all of your courses and get a full evaluation report on this particular program. There, they'll also show you recommended transfer programs where you can actually choose courses that they have determined and we have determined working with the community colleges will transfer over and satisfy major requirements for you. Now, under that research option, obviously visit the campus is a little bit difficult right now in the world that we're living in, but I will mention that we do have a virtual tour. That is also available via this platform and on our website. So you can find it at admissions.newark.rutgers.edu, and that virtual tour will give you a better idea and understanding of the campus environment, different buildings, different resources on campus, and really give you a glimpse into what it will be like to be a Rutgers student and allow you to see the campus that is 38 acres spanning over 35 different buildings. So you can take the virtual tour, and I do urge you to do that. Most importantly, at the end of the day, what you'd want to do is make sure you speak with an admissions representative like myself or someone on my team or anyone in our admissions office who can help guide you through the process. Last but certainly not least would be to always apply early. And by that, I mean, be aware of deadlines. We've gone over a few deadlines. I'll talk about 1 or 2 more in the next slide or the next 2 slides, but you always want to be aware of application deadlines, FAFSA deadlines. Most importantly, these deadlines for scholarship money. The worst thing you can do is leave money on the table for yourself, right? College is ultimately getting more expensive. Finances are becoming more important. So we want to do what we can to make sure that we provide an affordable option for you. The best way to do that is to make sure that you are aware of what we have put out there as our deadlines for some of these programs, like Run to the Top or Phi Theta Kappa or the HLOC, Honors Living Learning Community Program. These deadlines are important because they allow us to make sure that this is an affordable option for you. So again, just to journey back, you'd want to apply online. Apply online at admissions.rutgers.edu/apply. Make sure you submit all of your official college transcripts. Again, unofficials are fine and sufficient for an admissions decision. You do want to submit officials to make sure that the transfer credit process is as seamless as possible. Note our transfer deadlines there. For spring, October 1st is our priority deadline. For fall, it's February 1st. Now, this is in no way the last day to apply. We have rolling admissions after this, and what rolling admissions means is that we will review applicants as they come in. And we will continue to review applications as long as enrollment is open. So feel free to make sure that you apply by these deadlines just for your own peace of mind to get a quicker decision so that you have enough time to make an informed decision about whether or not Rutgers University-Newark is the right fit for you. But of course, if you happen to miss these deadlines, there is still the ability to enroll in Rutgers University-Newark for that semester. All in all, one of the greatest tools and resources that you will use through your transfer application process is your personal status screen. It will tell you, as I mentioned, everything that you need to know about your application and ultimately the next steps in moving forward with enrollment. So I want to thank everyone for taking the time to listening to me today, to talking more about Rutgers University-Newark and the process of transferring. Again, my name is Vincent Tepedino. You can see my personal email address here. Please use me as a resource. We are here to help. That is why we do what we do. And any little question that will limit the quote unquote transfer shock for you, that will make you less concerned about the process and more confident about your ability to join Rutgers University-Newark, please do not hesitate to reach out. You'll also see our admissions website there that has some really great information about virtual events, upcoming open house events, or admitted student day events, or really all the events that we have to ensure that you have made the right decision and choose Rutgers University-Newark for your educational future. Thank you, everyone.